Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here with Cal Traverse Family Head Football Coach Justin Wilcox. We'll go ahead and get started with Thomas Dunn. Go ahead, Thomas.
Good morning, Justin. A question a little bit out of left field, but you've been partaking in the Cal-Oregon matchup your whole life as a family member, a player, a coach. Given your ability to stay focused in the moment, are there any special/emotional feelings on this being the last game that these two play together as a member of the pack, and any particular memories you have from this matchup?
No, I mean, we're just so in the moment with what we're working on right now. We talked about this last week. There's a lot of, I guess they're lasts. I mean, we'll see where all this goes in the next, 5 years, 10 years with conferences and all that. And I do have feelings about the conference realignment, but now is not the time to discuss that. We're 100% focused on the game this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and go to Jeff Fado. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, can you give us an update on injuries and in particular with Jaden Ott? And also, do you have concerns about his ability to stay healthy, because he's gotten banged up pretty good in a number of games for you guys?
Yeah, we expect Jaden to be back for the game this weekend. He's had a few games this year where he's kind of been dinged up, but thing about Jaden, he really wants to get back in there and he's doing everything he can. Obviously, that's between he and the sports med staff, the trainers and doctors, and we are ready for him to get back full speed. And when he's out there, he's obviously a dynamic player, so we're looking forward to having him back. In terms of the rest of the guys, Isaiah Fonts is day-to-day, Mo Iosefa day-to-day. Let's see here. Ethan Saunders is probable. Derek Wilkins week to week at this point, and Ray Woody would be doubtful. Sam Jackson, the same, is doubtful.
Thank you.
Then we'll go to Steve Croner from the Chronicle.
And Justin, this might be a hard question to answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Given how well Fernando has played the past 3 games, is there any thought that 2 months ago, if you'd known this, that Fernando might have been the number 1 guy starting at North Texas?
Could you rephrase that or ask that again? What are you asking, Steve?
Yeah, sure. I got my tongue tied. Sorry.
That's all right.
If you knew 2 months ago what you know now, would you have started Fernando at North Texas?
Well, I think that's a hard question to answer, Steve, honestly, because players continue to develop and learn from experience, and not everybody develops at the same rate. And, you really do the best you can based on performance and practice, especially when guys haven't played. And he's done a great job of continuing to get better. I still think the other quarterbacks on our team have talent and could continue to develop into good football players. But I guess, with using the rearview mirror, there's a lot of decisions. I mean, I could look at the game every week, and if I knew what would happen on a given play, I'd like to go back and maybe change something. I mean, I think that's the game of football, but he's done a good job, and he continues to get better. He's very, very competitive, and we just want to see him continue to grow at that position.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, there are others with first-round questions. If not, we'll go back to Jeff Fado. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, on the subject of Sam, when he becomes healthy, is there any inclination to move him to wide receiver while also maybe allowing him to continue to be the backup quarterback? I realize that's probably a lot on one guy's plate, but he's got some experience there, and he's an awfully good athlete to just have stand on the sidelines all the time. I'm wondering. For him.
Yeah, well, the first thing is his health. We got to get Sam healthy, and so we'll know more this week on where that's headed. He is a very talented athlete, and we're glad he's on the team. We want to continue to work with him and develop him as a football player. But I think it'd be way too soon to talk about any of that. He's a quarterback. He was developing as a quarterback. He got dinged up. Fernando's done a great job with his opportunities. So we'll see where all that goes. But we want to continue to work with him and develop him as a quarterback. We want him to get healthy, and that's really our main focus right now.
So there's not been no thought or conversation about that at this point?
Not at this point.
Okay. And on a different topic, it continues to seem like you get a little bit from Javion Thomas. He cut the touchdown pass. He gave you a chance to possibly tie the game. Can you talk about his progress? And, especially if Afonse's out, it seems like his role could be elevated.
Yeah, we wanted to continue to get him more involved here in the last month. And he's obviously got some speed. He's a competitive guy. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but really eager to continue to get him more involved with the offense. And so it was great to see him make that play. It was a nice throw, a nice catch and run by him. He's still got areas where he can improve, but I really like his competitiveness, his toughness, and the speed that he brings.
And is Justin Thomas going to be a bigger factor going forward, especially with your injuries?
We'll see. Obviously, at that position, we're a bit banged up, and we've kind of needed everybody in that room. If you look back even to spring, the numbers of backs that we have on the roster is rather large, and the number of guys that have played, that's pretty significant. So everybody's gotten their opportunity, and Justin's been able to get back in the mix a bit, and we're glad that he was able to help us this past game, and we'll see where it goes from here.
All right, thanks.
Can we go to Jake Curtis with Cal Sports Report?
Yeah, besides the fact that Oregon has been really good over the last several years, is there a reason Autzen Stadium is particularly tough?
Well, it's loud, really loud. Have you been up there?
Yes, I have. Not recently.
Yeah, it's a great environment. It's a great environment to play in. Our guys will enjoy it. I mean, it's a really good college football environment. I mean, and so the noise is significant. You had to have a plan for that, and so I think that's what it is.
And the other thing, who if Isaiah can't play, who would be the number 2 running back?
Well, we're working through that. We're hoping to get Isaiah back for the game. He's, like I said, he's day to day, and that guy is as tough as they come. So if it's physically possible and he's cleared by the doctors, I'm sure he'll be out there. And if he's not able to go, there's a few other guys that'll have to step up and carry the load. And we've already talked about a couple of them already today. So we'll see throughout the week how that shakes out.
Okay, we'll go to back to Steve Croner.
Yeah, Justin, another one of those. I'm sure you're not wasting more than 35 seconds thinking about it, but the ACC announced the schedule for the next 7 years, and I'm sure you saw yours. Any quick thoughts on the ACC schedule for the Cal Bears next season?
They laid it on my desk yesterday, and then it was I saw it on one of these TVs that's in the lobby here. I couldn't tell you exactly verbatim. I know what it is. We're excited to be able to get the opportunity to play those teams next year. I'm sure it'll be great, but we just got so much we're concerned with right now that it's really not something we're all talking about. I'm sure there'll be an appropriate time to discuss that, but now is not that time.
Understood.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano.
A couple of questions about Oregon, if I can. You're seeing a string of incredibly good quarterbacks all season. Can you talk a little bit about Bo Nix? And he's completing 78% of his passes, which seems almost like a video game. Can you talk about how effective he is and how he separates himself maybe from those other guys you're seeing? Yeah,
there's some elite quarterback play in our conference, as we're seeing. Bo Nix, I think he's over 78% completion percentage. He does a lot at the line of scrimmage. Some teams you'll see they got great scheme, no doubt. And you'll see some teams where they'll get up there and freeze it, and everybody looks at the sideline, and the coach kind of plays Madden. You'll see, with Bo Nix, he handles a lot at the line of scrimmage. So he knows what he's doing. He knows where to go with the ball. They don't get sacked. I think they're leading the country and protecting the quarterback, and that's obviously the the guys up front, and the scheme, and also the quarterback. Everybody's involved in that. But yeah, he's an excellent player. They're averaging 45 points, over 45, and over 500 yards a game, and it all starts with the quarterback. But with that, they got a really, really big physical O-line. They got a great talent at tight end. The receivers are playmakers. The running back is a special player, so they're very good. And he's a really, really talented guy that plays at a high level.
And defensively, they're among the national leaders in fewest rushing yards allowed, which is one of the things you guys do real well. Talk about their run defense, and how much of that is a function of the fact that people always get way behind them, and so they can't run the ball as much, or is it just because they're real stout?
Like both those things are true. They are physically, defensively, they're very, very impressive physically. I think they play, 10 or 12 guys up front, and there's some very talented players in that group, and they rotate a bunch of players. They're really big, and they're very, very big on the edges. There's some great edge players in our conference. These guys are great edge players too. The interior D-line, as gifted as anybody you'll see, and then the edges are big, like 290, 270, 270. They're just a really big physical front, and they play a lot of people.
When you put them all together, their offense, defense, even they got great kicker and punter, I know. It seems like you're playing the latest, best team in the league every week. How do these guys compare to Washington? I mean, I know they lost the Huskies by 3 on the road, but is this as good a team as you have in your league?
Yeah, physically they're, it's hard to compare this, that, and the other, but I know even if you talk to the NFL guys that come through here, they've assembled a very, very talented team up there, and they're playing at a high level. They got good schemes. They're well coached. So it'll be a great challenge for us. Our guys are excited to play, and they're a very, very talented team.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go back to Thomas Dunn.
Justin, the forecast for this weekend is not necessarily looking too kind. So how are you guys going into preparing for the possibility of a rainstorm-filled game? Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, we got buckets everywhere, and quarterback and receivers. We got water bottles and buckets, and spraying them down. So
how are they handling that new variable?
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Go back to Jeff Fado. Jeff?
Perhaps a silly question, Justin, but on the topic of rain and quarterbacks, Jared Goff had a famously terrible game up there in an unbelievable rainstorm. They had as much rain as the people in Eugene say they've ever had at one time, and he couldn't even grip the ball. How's your guy Fernando able to cope with that kind of weather? He had probably had some rain in Miami, I'm sure, but how's he coping?
Great. We have one of the managers on the team is in charge of spraying Fernando's hands and the ball down before every snap, and he's all about it. And he's got, most of the time, Jeff, that comes down to hand size. Guys with bigger hands can grip the ball easier when it's wet than guys with smaller hands. And so he's done a really good job with that. And he's all about it. He's the one that's demanding more water on the ball and more water on his hands, as you can imagine.
It's a kind of a deal where, as silly as it sounds, I think Jared had to overcome that reputation for a while with the smaller hands. I take it Fernando's hands are adequate for the job.
Yeah, he's done great with it. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any final questions for Coach?